So Chelsea managed to get a 3-2 victory, a game of two halves, an incredible comeback, and we have a lot to talk about in this particular game. So let's begin our live stream in a very positive note. Chelsea climb all the way to the top four after resounding 3-2 victory over Westham, and it was a game of two halves. It was a game of two halves, and there is quite a lot to talk about. And let's just begin our live stream.
Yeah, Southwest London, but the vibe is strictly Long Beach. Check it, check it, check it, check it. Step in the room, fresh suit, tailored fine. Liam Rosie, losing class from day one, divine. Shaking every hand, greeting the press with a smile. Polite with the ink slinger, staying for a while. But wait, hold up, he's a red devil at heart. Taking the bridges wheel, man, that's a risky start. Nice to meet you, how you doing? It's a charm offensive. While the bridge is looking on, getting all defensive. Don't buy a house yet, don't even sign a lease. The
So, hello guys, and welcome back to another live stream in our channel. And what a game! What a game! Proper London derby. It was a proper London derby. East London meets West London. Proper derby. Red card, foul, aggression. And in the first half of the game, you thought that it's only West Ham who knew what the derby is. But the amount of determination that happened in that second half is why we watch football. And I'm super happy for the 3 points. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy for the 3 points. I'm happy for the comeback. And I'm happy that. And it has been a week of comebacks. Look at that Napoli game. We were also at a point we were 2-1 down. We managed to get a resounding 3-2 comeback. Look at this game today. We were 2-0 down. We managed to get a 3-2 comeback. Arsenal, you better watch out. Because today we are back in the spirit of comeback. So probably we might make a historic comeback in the Carabao Cup, but that's a story for another day. But today I just want to talk about the game. First of all, when you look at the lineup, you look at a lineup that is heavily rotated. We saw Benoit, we saw that axis of upheaval. Benoit, Hato, and Garnacho, and it couldn't work. And even when I saw Gitten starting that game and Gitten starting down the right, you saw it was not clicking. You saw there was no penetrative passes. There was no combination play. There was no that attacking dynamic. You see, this is one thing that I have always said about this team, is that the model in which this team was created is where I generally do not understand what Bluco are doing, because we have a very good starting 11. Then the players below that starting 11 are bang average. That is what I have to say. Because you could see the difference in quality with Cucurella coming in the second half and when Hato was on the pitch. You could see the difference in quality when Neto comes in for Gittens. You could see the difference in quality when Fofana comes in for Benoit. You could see the difference in quality when Chelsea brought in João Pedro. And João Pedro has been Chelsea's most informed player. He comes on, scores the opener, and immediately that goal, because I've said the only way we could get this game is by scoring early. And immediately João Pedro puts that goal in the back of the net. You could see the tempo of the game change. Immediately that goal was scored in the 57th minute. You could see the energy. You could see the game having changed. You could see the team building up. You could see everything going on to plan, because you need that first goal, and you could see the passes. And first of all, this is where I always question, why are we not moving the ball as fast as that in the initial phases of the game? Why are we not moving the ball so fast like that in the initial phases of play? We need to move that ball quickly. We need to pass that ball quickly. We need to thread in those troopers. Today is like I saw the Cole Palmer that I know. Today I did not see the Cole Palmer, the imposter that I've been seeing in the past couple of weeks. Today, you saw the Cole Palmer getting the ball, attempting a nutmeg, attempting a pass, attempting to dribble, and it was so great. Mario Gusto brought in that energy into the team. I'm seeing 120 of you watching. Kindly like so that we're able to share this live stream with so many people. And I liked the way I saw the team is. And one player that I always have to talk about is Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez. He's always the captain. I'm saying that Chelsea has a duopoly when it comes to captains, a duopoly of Rhys James and Enzo Fernandez. You could see the way Enzo Fernandez comes. He grabs the team. You can see his mentality. You could see this was his 150th game in Chelsea. And you saw the way he scored that goal, the way he celebrated that goal, the way he went up to the fans. And these are the kind of games you want. These are the kind of games that you remember. That header by Cucurella reminded me of Olivier Giroud's header in the Europa. Is it in the Europa League or no? It reminded me of Olivier Giroud's header in the Europa League final in 2019. Absolutely fantastic. The first cross is made. Delap is unable to get to that cross, and Cucurella ruthlessly enters into that box and heads that ball in. You need players who are so ruthless. If you have Hato, does that goal go in? No. And that is why I was saying there is a huge gap between Chelsea's starting 11 and the bench. Huge gap. And it could be seen today. You could see the way these players, when they were playing with heavy rotation, they were not good enough to beat Westham. I was asking myself, Westham are probably the most terrible defense in the league. Yes, they have been scoring goals recently, but they are not quite a great team. They concede a lot of goals. I did not understand why they came to the bridge. They looked more like they wanted this win. They looked more like they needed this win. They were going hard on tackles. They were moving the ball quick. They were passing the ball quick. They were bullying our players off the pitch, and we are at home. And in the first half, you could see the boos, especially down that left side. And I think the atmosphere generated by the fans might have also affected players like Garnacho, because I remember whenever Garnacho got the ball and he was facing Wan-Bissaka, he constantly played the ball backwards. And this might have been a PTSD from the way he normally plays with Wan-Bissaka back at Carrington when he was at Manchester United. So you could understand where probably that is where Garnacho was coming from whenever he looks at a player like Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But when the manager spotted it, he started to make changes. And that is what I like. But Liam Rossignol also needs to be more keen with the way he makes his lineup selections, because you cannot always get away by making adjustments when you are going down. No. You have to try and limit the way you're actually making these kinds of substitution. So I'd like to introduce our just a minute. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Want to get rid of Yeah, so sorry about that. I had an issue I was trying to fix here. So what I was trying to say is that the way that Liam Rossignol sets up the team, he should not look to heavily rotate the team. He should not look to heavily rotate the team, because what happens is that when he does heavy rotation within the team, what you notice is that it actually comes and it affects the overall productivity of the team. And he needs to also understand the Premier League. I don't know whether it is the board that is applying pressure on him, but it needs to be understood that the Premier League is even way tougher than the Champions League. Actually, Chelsea can get away with doing heavy rotations in the Champions League than in the Premier League, because in the Premier League, it is very physical, it is very fast, it is very unpredictable, and you can be subjected to these kinds of games. So, moving forward, we need to make less rotations. If we are making a rotation from a lineup, maybe maximum of 4 players, so that we are able to retain a core of players who will be able to kill off and win off the game when it is needed. So I just want to interact with some of your comments here, and I really appreciate all of you who are watching us. So Kibet, I'm fine, thank you. Lovely game. It was a This is the kind of those traditional English Premier League games. It's a proper London derby. Proper London derby. Physicality, aggression. You saw what happened in the end. And I like João Pedro. João Pedro is like I like this Brazilian players. He behaves like Richarlison. He's that player who the other team doesn't like, but your team likes. He's that player who the other team doesn't like, but you like him when he's on your side. Same goes with Cucurella. He's that player who the opponent does not like, but he's a player that you like. If he was playing against you, you wouldn't like him. But if he's playing for you, you like him. So I like those kinds of players. There's those players who wind you up. Look at what Palmer did when the ball went out. He came up with the ball and he hit the opposition player with the ball, and I really enjoyed that. And then also the Reece James substitution is all about the mentality. You know, Reece James is the captain. You know the way Reece James gets into this player's mind. So the minute you bring him, you bring in that mentality. And when Reece James came on, you saw him overlapping. He wanted to have Reece James into that wide channel so that he can whip in crosses. And voila, the cross that actually wins the game comes from Reece James. So that's another tick. That's another tick. So the cross that wins Chelsea the game comes from Reece James. And because that actually happens, it makes it even better that he has actually managed to make proper selections, especially after that howler that happened in the first half. Benoit Badiashile, once again, his movement with the ball, even started to make those clumsy passes. And this is where I always have a problem with Benoit, because with Benoit, I think he has played so many games to be experienced, but because he's also been so injured, he has not played a lot of games. You find it's kind of 50-50. But this is now that the type of Benoit where you're like, this is not the type of Benoit that I want to play. Hato is not a left back, but even he has been tried at center back. He's also a young player, so he's inconsistent. He will give you a good game today, he will give you a bad game tomorrow. But that is part and parcel of being inconsistent. I have not inquired about Esteval. We won the game, that's fine. I have never been this angry. I was super mad in the first half. But when Enzo put in that final dagger, I almost lost my voice. History made. What a comeback. I think the most incredible comeback that Chelsea have made. I think there is that Manchester United game, and then there's that Champions League final away at Bayern Munich. Liam will now realize what Maresca realized, that we don't have a good enough squad to rotate in the Premier League. The game started off poor for Chelsea, mainly due to... Yeah, you are 100% correct. You are 100% correct. You see, these are the things now that the manager is going to learn. And once he learns this, he's going to raise these questions, because you cannot always. There's some guys who think that I dislike Liam. I don't dislike him. If he succeeds, the team succeeds. We win trophies. I'll be happy. But one area that he's going to face is this. And I said this: the difference between Chelsea's starting 11 and the squad, the bench squad, is so huge. The difference needs to be something small like this, not this. Because the minute you substitute Cucurella and Hato, it's like a 10 points downgrade. The minute you substitute Benoit and Fofana, again, it is a 10 points downgrade. The minute you substitute Gittens for Neto is another 10 points. Yes, Neto has not been doing quite well recently, but I would still prefer to have him on the pitch over the likes of Gittens, over the likes of Garnacho. With Garnacho, today he will score you 2 goals. Tomorrow he will not even know how to pass because he cannot dribble. Garnacho cannot beat his man. You are a winger. You're the one who's being isolated 1v1. You are the one who's supposed to be so great at beating your man. So if you're not able to beat your man, it beats the point of why you are actually a winger in the first place. Garnacho or whatever he could, he really pissed me off. You could hear from the boos from the entire stand. Not even bang average, just not even Premier League standard, okay? He couldn't attack. He couldn't defend. Yeah, this is the problem with Garnacho. This is the problem with Garnacho. When he had the ball, 1v1 against Wan-Bissaka, he couldn't beat him. When it had to come back and help Hato to defend, he wouldn't. But I also noticed one thing about Hato. He's not so tight with his player. You see, Kurela came in, we did not see this problem. We did not see this problem where he's isolated against the winger, then he stands in a position where the winger is able to play the pass in behind him towards a runner. No. But Hato, it kept on happening. Hato will be pulled out, a pass will be played in behind him. And why was a passes being played in behind him? One, it's either because when you have Fernandez in the team, he will not be that player who will go to cover. Therefore, what happens is that the winger is the one who's supposed to come and, like, Wan-Bissaka was Garnacho's man. So Garnacho was the one who was supposed to stick on Wan-Bissaka, then allow Hato to play slightly in field so that he can prevent those. Because look at a lot of those crosses. They came from the left half space because Hato was being pulled out and the runner was making a run. Because Garnacho, rather than looking after his man, because there was no proper communication, Garnacho should have told Hato that I will look at Wan-Bissaka, you focus on the man who's making the run behind. That is how you coordinate winger fullback defending situation. The winger informs the fullback that I will look after the opposition fullback, you look after your man. So that Garnacho, knowing very well that Wan-Bissaka is not a good player when it comes to dribbling and whipping in crosses, should have been able to handle him. When Neto moved down to the left, Neto was able to handle that situation quite well. So there are a lot of questions. His work rate as well as his output, he cannot beat his man. Two things that Garnacho needs to work on efficiently. Or as Roy Keane actually said before I introduced the panel, Roy Keane actually said that Chelsea should sign Dalot because Dalot plays well with Garnacho. Westham had 5 at the back and we still won. Nice. Westham have not kept a clean sheet this season. So, and they have one of the poorest defenses in the league. The only thing, one thing I need to tell, one thing that Chelsea players need to learn, and I hope the manager will also communicate with them. The minute you apply maximum pressure on these lower level teams in the Premier League, they crack. Look at what happened Leeds versus Arsenal. This is the same Leeds that played us off the park and beat us at their home. Yes, I do understand the traditional rivalry between Chelsea and Leeds. However, if you go to Leeds, you play with that tempo, you move the ball quick, you keep the ball efficiently, you create those chances, you attempt shots on target, you are going to subdue these teams. And you have to look at the teams that have won the Premier League recently. Look at Klopp's Liverpool. Look at how they constantly pressed teams out of. They pressed like nobody's business. The wing backs, Robertson, Trent, Van Dijk when he was good. Look at Manchester City. When they were winning titles, they had a team that was able to keep the ball well, and they could switch it on immediately. Like they will just keep the ball, and then turn up the tempo of the game. You see De Bruyne getting the ball, whipping in crosses, making runs, and you could see Manchester City moving from gear 1 to gear 4. Very quick. So that's the same thing that Chelsea need to do. When you find a team has come home and they are aggressive and they are sticking it on you, they are on your faces, what you need to do now is You either reduce the tempo of the game, you take the ball, you keep the ball for around 5 minutes, wear down that tempo, then you attack. So I think that is one area where Liam needs to learn and also explain to the players that when the opposition team is very intense, you take the ball, you keep it, you take out the pressure from the game. Then after you've taken out pressure from the game, now you can raise the tempo of the game in your own terms. Do not allow the opponent to raise the game for you. No, you raise the game for the opponent. This was a memorable London derby. Yes, together with the red card, Neto was everywhere, both wings. Yeah, I like that. I like that. This is what I like. It's not a must that because you are a left winger, you have to play down the left. No, I like sometimes seeing him allowing Kukurela holding the wicket there, Neto coming back to the right, telling Palmer, "You don't worry, you go in your number 10 position. I'll handle it here." He gets the ball and he carries the ball. I like that. I like that. Sometimes when you're on the pitch, you just need players to have that mentality. I like the way Enzo Fernandez makes those late runs inside the box. I knew if that cross was coming, it was him who will be found with that ball. He knows how to make those runs. He's a proper number 8. Proper number 8. If he scores more goals, he's probably the future Frank Lampard. But that's quite a huge stretch. The second half was much better. The world champions. How did Liam Resinia set to start the lineup with Hato Badesh? I think these are probably instructions from the medical team. You know, sometimes the problem with this club is that they're so overbearing in the manager. They're so overbearing. So you will see the manager coming on and they just want to be overbearing. So I just want to make my submission so that when I introduce the panel, I can just allow them to also make their submission. You have to rotate the team, but you don't have to heavily rotate the team. You can just rotate the team, 3 players, 4 players, and you're okay. We are lacking a striker. Dilap. Honestly speaking, it just looks for me. It just looks like to me like the one of those WWE players. His hold up play, his heading. By the way, Dilap's heading is not quite great. I'm so shocked. Joao Pedro is very good, by the way, with his heading and with his finishing. Dilap is not so great with that. But at least one thing you can also learn is that when Dilap is on the pitch, he occupies the center backs. And once he occupies those center backs with those runs that he likes to make and those physical games he likes to play in that position, it allows players like Joao Pedro who are not so physical, and Cole Palmer. That's why you saw Joao Pedro and Cole Palmer get into the game. It was because Dilap was occupying the center backs by doing WWE challenges with them. So once he does those WWE challenges with them, you get that space. BNM. I don't know what that is. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Still don't trust the new manager, honestly. Yeah, just give it a bit of time. Just give it a bit of time. However, he needs to move fast when it comes to learning how to control games. The last bang of Enzo came from Pedro, not Reese. But the ball had been shafted from Reese, then it moved to Pedro. But anyway, I might have got it wrong. So let me just introduce some few guys here to make the submission. So how are you, Christian?
I'm here. I'm here. Who else is in the chat? Start somebody else.
Okay. Mehdi, how are you?
I'm okay.
Yes. Can you give us your opinion on the game and how it went?
I mean, yeah, I think we're all in limbs, but I think one thing we should mention is we should have never been in that position for the first place. Like, I don't mean to be the guy to put a bummer on that, but that's something we should remember. And, it's something we've discussed for a long time that once you come down from the first 11, the depth of the squad is just very poor. Because, like, when you look at players like Garnacho, you're actually never convinced. You're not convinced when you see players like Delap. You're not convinced when you have to put Gittins outright. Another thing we have to remember is our best midfield 3 has played another 90 minutes again. So that probably means one of them is going to have to get benched. And I don't know if you saw, but there was a point in the game whereby, like, Caicedo was breathing so much. Like, you could see he was tired, And another thing I will say is João Pedro is doing really well, because I'll tell you something. When that ball came to him, I was not expecting that cutback. That was very, very, very intelligent. So I'll give him that. Another thing, the downgrade I think that we don't talk about enough is from Gusto to James. I think you can see the difference in quality. It's massive. And Isak, he had told us that, Hato and Gusto are very questionable, and he was clearly right. The first goal comes from Hato's side. I think he lacks IQ still. He needs to go out on loan. But yeah, great performance from the first team starters who have to bail them out. Rosinger gets 6 out of 7. So I don't know. I'm not too sure what to think about it. I'm also trying to process all of this. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that that was a convincing performance? I mean, we showed great character, but what do you think?
In my opinion, I've said first of all, I don't even know whether I should blame Rosinha for the lineup, because you don't know. You heard that the medical team nowadays is there among the staff, so they can tell you you are not going to play Stevao today. What are you going to do? So you see, that is where I cannot even blame him because of the lineup. Because what is coming out is that there are some huge forces within the club that are pushing the manager to select the kind of lineup he's selecting. What other question did you ask me? I just forgot.
Do you think that was a convincing performance?
I can say that those are two different teams. The first half is a different team. The second half is a different team. And that is the version of Chelsea that we've had this season. We've had a Chelsea where Tosin is starting as a defender. You see the errors he makes. Where Badiashile starts, you see the errors he makes. And what I had said even when I started my live, it just proves that there is a huge gap between Chelsea's starting 11 and the squad. The squad building is not great. We are not built. Remember when we used to have Jorginho, Kovacic, and Kante? If Kante is injured and you bring in Kovacic and Jorginho, you could see there was no so huge difference. Yes, Kante was world class, but you could bring Kovacic in and the team would still play well. The same, but here now you're in a situation where you have Kante and Jorginho, and then you have Billy Gilmer as the replacement. Yeah, now you see there is a huge problem. So I think that is where the issue is.
Okay, yeah, I think that makes sense. I don't know. I feel like we've always reiterated that. So the game against Arsenal is going to be more difficult because I think a lot of players are going to be fatigued, right? I mean, Cole Palmer played a 90, Caicedo and Enzo, I think, played another 90. So I think I don't know how I feel about our chances, unless you think we can go there and actually get a result.
It's the week of comebacks. It is the week of comebacks. So come back against Napoli, come back today. Arsenal should be prepared. A comeback is coming on Tuesday.
You're really confident in that.
I'm not confident. I'm trying to be optimistic.
Let's see, man. Anyways, I think let's give someone else on the panel a chance to speak. I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
want
we've
to
got their
give
colleagues.
Isaac. I thought you had a question. That's why I wanted you to finish. Then Isaac can continue.
Yeah, let's ask Isaac a question now.
Yeah, you ask him a question today.
Isaac, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know if your name is Isaac or Isaac, but yeah, just correct me where I'm wrong. But yeah, what do you think of the game? I'm sure you were very happy to see Hato and Gusto like chained off because you were very right about that. But how do you feel?
Hi everyone. So you can call me as you want. Isaac, Isaac, it's all good. Isaac for
Only when,
Englishman and
only
the
only
Russian
when
and
we win.
Isaac. Yes.
Only when we win.
Yeah, you can call me as you want. So about the game today. First of all, let me start with the manager. The bad things he did it is that rotation. Of course, even if he has been instructed that he has to make rotation, but he has to balance that rotation. I was hungry when I saw this half side with Garnacho, Ato, and Badiashile. He make a mess on that side. he should not align 3 of them like that. No, that was a mess from him. And the things I like to this manager, is reacting fast. Actually, he's making sometimes same mistake as Maresca. But the one difference is that he's reacting fast. So at half time, he decided to change everything, and it worked. That's good. But regarding his rotation, I don't agree with that. What he did. Then we have a problem on fullbacks, Ato and Gusto, because you see, the way I'm seeing Gusto sometimes is hiding in some performance. He's good when he's playing like in attack, when he's going to support the winger. He's very good. That's why we don't see much his limits when he has to defend. He's a poor defending Gusto, honestly. Start tracking him and you will realize that. So, maybe I've asked a question saying that how can I rate this performance? For me, it's a good performance. The player could give up in the first half, even in the second half, but they didn't. They show the character. They go to the hand. You see? And for us who were watching this game behind the TV, we're like, you see, even in your room, it's like it went crazy. This is the way we want to see the game. There are many people who comment the comeback against. They highlight some team, but remember also the comeback against Tottenham in Maresca time when Cucurella was sleeping on the pitch. So yeah. You see, this is a character we want. They could give up, but they didn't. And for me, it's a good win. It's a good win. It's a good 3 points. Actually, it's not. We didn't score those goals on, I don't know, on penalty, on some situation where they were. No, they were good goals made by construction. So everything was good. It's a good performance, actually.
Do you think that this final these two comebacks, these two back-to-back comebacks, do you think it can be an inspiration that they can carry for that Carabao Cup semi-final at the Emirates? Yes, though Arsenal is a different animal. Arsenal is not a team that you will concede 2 goals at the Emirates and then you're going to come back. So
I know, but
can they do?
I'm 100% sure Arsenal should pay attention to that game. We might come back and win that game. I'm sure.
Also, you can learn from Manu. You can also learn from Manchester United.
Of course. We have seen the limit of Arsenal in that game. If you analyze that game, you might see where the weakness of Arsenal is, and we can exploit them. We have the quality. I know you highlight a very good things about the gap between the starting 11 and the bench. Yes, which is true. But we have the quality to go at Emirates and win.
Thank you very much, Isaac. There are some few comments here. Yeah, thank you for watching us from Ghana. We need Jeremy and Sar. Do you think by there's a suggestion that Mamadou Sarr is supposed to come? I would, if you probably, in my opinion, Hato deserves one loan season at Strasbourg. That's my opinion. He deserves a loan season at Strasbourg. So if we can recall Mamadou Sarr and then because I think Hato is a good player, but he's in his development, he shouldn't be being thrown into Chelsea, into Premier League games or Champions League games, because it's going to destroy his confidence. But if you take him to a team like Strasbourg, where there is a lot of pressure for him to perform, and is guaranteed game time week in, week out, I think that is one way we can develop Hato. I think that is one way we can do it for Hato. We need to take him to Strasbourg.
Yes, correct. I have the same opinion. That guy should go to Strasbourg. for a long loan. When he come back, if he doesn't improve, I don't know why we should keep him. We were so excited to see Hato coming at Chelsea because we wanted Cucurella also to get some rest. But what the problem with Hato is that even when he control the ball, you cannot see that confidence. He's not confident. So in every touch of Hato, I'm scaring. I'm just asking myself what will happen here. So he has to build that confidence. I don't know. He was a good defender in Dutch, in Eredivisie, how they call it. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
but
was a good defender, but what is
the
showing
gap,
is yeah,
the
of
gap,
course. Gap is,
the gap in quality between the Premier League and the other leagues is so
of
huge.
course,
That's why in the Champions League you saw 6 out of 8 teams that qualified. Was it 6 or 5? Were Premier League teams.
five.
Five were Premier League
Yes,
teams. So it
yes,
shows that the Premier League dominates, and now
yes.
UEFA will have to come up with a way of coming up
Limited.
with new rules so that to limit English teams. Because if you use this coefficient team, it will
Yeah,
be guaranteed that English teams will be getting up to number 5
yes.
every
If
season.
Newcastle beat PSG because they
Then
draw,
they are,
yeah,
yeah,
they could be also in the top 8.
yeah. So we could have 6 English teams in the round of
Yes,
16. And it's more likely that even Chelsea being in the round of 16, they might play one English team in the quarterfinal.
of course. Yeah.
In my opinion, the only English team I'd like to meet in that Champions League is Tottenham. I'd like to meet them. I'm not scared of Tottenham. Home and away in the semi-final. Home and away. You dunk on them properly.
But
It will be.
I know that we are going to face PSG.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get PSG. I don't think we'll get PSG.
So if we
Honestly.
don't get PSG, we get Newcastle.
I really don't know, but we can shit out ourselves to very high levels in that Champions League. You know, there's also that element of luck with Chelsea. You don't really just find you've gotten Monaco.
Tyron, allow me to say something, please. I know it's out of today win because I'm hearing it to many people is about Jackson, especially when João Pedro is scoring. They say no, if it was Jackson when Estevao scored that goals, if it was Jackson. But in my honest thing, in this new system of Rossignol, I think it can fit Nicolas Jackson. It can improve in this system of double pivot. I don't like when he's going to invert the fullback, but when he's playing with double pivot, I think that system can also suit Nicolas Jackson.
Even the Maresca system suited Jackson. You see, one thing about Jackson that he gives Chelsea that Chelsea lack with other defenders is Jackson has the physicality. Jackson has a high IQ. Yes, his shooting is not the best. When it comes to his finishing, he's not the best. He will miss the most obvious chances. But when it comes to holding the ball, making runs, dribbling past a defender, physicality up front, pressing, I think he's very complete in those areas. But now when it comes to shooting, that's where you have issues with Jackson. Christian is back. Let him take the floor. He can start wherever he wants. Christian, you can start from Jackson. You can start from the game. But all I can say is that was a proper London derby.
First of all, good evening. Bonsoir, asante sana, muribanji, guten tag, and go aften. And to the distinguished panels, Mr. Isaac, Mr. Tyrone, and of course, Mr. Stats guy, Mehdi. He didn't even give us one, not even a single stat. How disappointing. I've been listening from the beginning, so I'm just shocked. Nothing, no numbers, nothing, not even a single one. So I don't know what's wrong with him. Maybe he's got the flu or something. So, but anyway, look at this game of two halves. Dr. Jekyll and Dr. Hyde. And even within the second half, two halves within inside the second half, if you notice. So I was writing in the group chat there, urgency. Where is this urgency? Where is the speed? Where is this this dogfight. As you kept saying, the London Derby dogfight. We saw at the beginning of the second half, and they came out there with that power, that urgency, and then for whatever reason, they went back to the first half again. That's slow, boring, predictable. Almost like you think, come on, man, this is so too easy for West Ham to pick you off. It's only when they put the accelerator on, start attacking from the wings, integrate passing at that speed, it had West Ham completely confused, and they didn't have time to set up to defend. Because when you attack at slow speed against these low blocks, if you give them the time for the defense to set up, it's easy for them to pick you off. And so when I was just very, very happy, even though 2-0 down, if you notice in the group chat, I wasn't a pessimist. I just had a feeling there was something still left in this game here. Because, when you're a losing team like West Ham, and unfortunately, when things are going against you, what the most unimaginable things happen to you when you're in the relegation scrap. You could be leading 3-0, and for whatever crazy reason, you'll lose 4-3. That is just that luck when you're having that bad luck. The same thing as when you're winning. When you're winning like Arsenal or whoever, you seem to have crazy good luck. The 99th minute or whatever, Fergie time, all that business there. So football is also a game of luck, a game of, obviously in football, you've got to create your own luck. Now, as you said very, very fantastically in the beginning of the show, that this PE teacher, he has to also make his own luck from the beginning. So when you do this over rotation, you're putting yourself on the back foot before the game has even begun. So he had to dig himself out of that hole. He made the mess, and fortunately for himself, he was able to rescue through all the substitutions, and he was very lucky to get away with this. But as I said to you some weeks ago, winning becomes a habit. So he's coming to this club, and everybody's been underestimating him. PE teacher, whatever. He's from Strasbourg, yada, yada, yada. Nobody gives him any respect. Nobody gives any flowers, yourself included. But like this, despite having let's not forget, he's had a very soft program to start his career at Chelsea. Look at the run of games he's had. He's only had one tough game, which was Arsenal, and he lost that. Otherwise, the introduction to this job at Chelsea has been soft. Let's wait and see when the rubber meets the road, when he starts meeting the Liverpools, the Uniteds, the cities and whoever. Then we'll see what he's made out of. If he's really that guy, or if he's not. But the takeoff from this game, another thing which I liked was you could see that these guys, they have that fighting mentality. That's, I know it sounds ridiculous, but if you saw at the end of the game the handbags business. So where the guy with the baby oil, the guy who wraps himself with baby oil, the bodybuilder, what the hell is his name?
Adamachari.
That guy there, he doesn't look like a football player. I don't know what he does on the football pitch. I've never seen him make a cross, never seen him do anything. And that other giant centre back.
He's only remembered for scoring goals when Pep Guardiola is going after the league at Manchester City. He was the only guy who we could rely on. There was that time when Manchester City was so powerful that no team was able to beat them. So you would rely on Traore with Wolves to beat Manchester City. It was only Tottenham and Wolves who could beat them. And maybe Liverpool. Maybe one day they go to Anfield and Klopp is on his game that day. They beat them. You remember how it was difficult to beat Manchester City?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But if I ask you, from that situation, now, obviously, Sanchez, it shocked me how powerful, how strong, how much he defended his players. Who else did you notice in amongst that scrap? João Pedro instigates everything, but who was the other guys with Chelsea? If I ask you who you noticed, wow, these are really good teammates. Who in that situation? Who did you notice?
It is always clear. I said it is a captain duopoly between Enzo and Reece James. Enzo is very young, but you can see the way he's so mature. I think sometimes parenthood comes with maturity. Enzo, I think, is that one person who just had to mature. He had to mature above his age, because you might find that there are a lot of players there in that team who are even older than him, but you will see him talking to them. You remember what he did to Sterling when Sterling insisted on taking a penalty and Palmer was on the pitch. He went, he took the ball off Sterling, he told Sterling to stand over there. Then he gave the ball to Palmer. And by that time, Sterling was almost 8 years older than him. So that is why. That's why. And then with Enzo, you will not find him fighting all over, but you'll find him taking the other players. He's a vice captain. When Rhys James is not on the pitch, he's the captain. When Rhys James is on the pitch, he's there. He plays like a vice captain. You will see. There are only two players who I always see that they have that chemistry, like they have that winning mentality, and it is always Rhys James and Enzo. Have you ever seen when Enzo scores a goal, who he normally goes to a lot? It's always Rhys James.
Yes.
I think it's probably Rhys James is his friend in that. He's probably the level of maturity in that team. I think he only resonates with Rhys James when it comes. Maybe he can resonate with Tosin, but out of the uncles in the team, Enzo is one of those uncles. Yes, Mehdi likes to call it uncles.
But let's be honest. In this Chelsea team, yes, we won 3-2. Yes, it was a dodgy win at the end. But there's a lot of building. There's a lot of issues to be addressed in this team here. There's such an imbalance within the team. It's actually a good team will tear this team apart. If you look at the issues we have with Cole Palmer, he was shit in this game. I know you said it was good. He was actually pretty shit in this game. If you have that guy, that horrible right back, what's his name, the French guy?
Gusto.
Oh my God. Yeah. Attacking, yes, who said that? I think Mr. Isak said he was good attacking. I agree. But defending, you saw the second goal, completely his fault. He was fast asleep as usual. You have Delap up front. I'm sorry. I know you like Delap, but I don't see what he's doing. What is his main? Yes, you say he draws out players, but even simple, you've got the ball, a simple pass is fading 1 meter from the goal line to hit the ball in, missing. I think really, what kind of bad luck does this guy have? And there's that, and you would obviously, no Cucurella, no Partey, left back. That is another big issue pending. We've always talked about right backs, but God help us if Cucurella gets injured, then what? So there's the issue there. In the centre back, I never worried about centre. Sorry.
Do you know that if Cucurella is injured, I'd rather play Gusto in that left back position? Actually, Gusto plays even way better than in that. No, Isaac, I know, I see you're shaking your head, but I have seen Gusto play in that left back position. I'm not saying he's the greatest. Was it the Arsenal game or the Manchester City game? There was a big game that Gusto started down that left.
Manchester City.
And he was actually, and he was defending quite well. If Cucurella is
quite
not allowed,
well than Ato. Yes, I agree.
Than Hato. But again, Cucurella is miles ahead. That's why I'm saying there's a huge problem with the squad building. They are spending a lot of money on... Okay, part of the reason why Chelsea is what it is now is because of inconsistency. It's not that the tactics, that's why I say there is no issue with the tactics. Sometimes there is no issue with the tactics. It is just that you have so many young players who need to learn. And Bluko, Egbali, and Todboli, and whatever who works there needs to understand that as much as you want to sign young players, you can sign young players, send them to Strasbourg, then maintain a course. That's why whenever people are saying that we need to sell Neto, I'm like, no, don't sell Neto. Don't sell Tosin. I have no problem. By the way, I am one of the person who heavily criticizes Tosin, but I want Tosin there. Because I always hear that he talks a lot in the dressing room. I want him there. Maybe he's that.
This game should have been 4-2 as well. Sorry to cut you off. Because another point I think a lot of people forgot is that Cole Palmer missed at the end of the game when Neto that was horrible. I was like, what is going on, bro?
On his left foot as well, not even right foot, on his left foot, his strong foot. But the way
you like on that on his left foot.
He's a left-footed player.
Yeah, Cole Palmer. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering why Isaac is laughing.
Yeah, just
but that was
that Christian mentioned that clearly. He missed on his left foot. you know, when he adds on his left foot, it's making sense.
And it
But
wasn't
you,
even like he missed it like by a couple inches. He absolutely skied it. Like I
But I
don't
thought
know
was
how he's done that.
but did you
but I thought
notice?
was that
But did you notice before that? If you have a good memory, before that, he had that challenge on the sideline where he looked like he was in pain. He was skirmishing in pain, and I think somehow he was from that point on. He was actually playing with the injury. There was no more substitutions left to be made. So it could be that he missed because of something in his leg or knee or whatever, hamstrings or whatever is the issue. Was the cause of why he's missed that chance. I'll give him. I'll give him. I'll be fair to him. I think he got injured during that tackle there. So but he still had energy to go and fight in the corner flag. So where did he? Can you imagine that being Maresca? Maresca, he didn't allow Cole Palmer to take part in those kind of handback situations. But with this guy, so Paul Palmer didn't do very much in that game. So I suppose that's all. The most he could do was go and defend João Pedro, who was about to be killed. That other guy, that giant defender there, that guy, I don't know how big he is. If you saw his eyes, oh my God, he wanted to murder somebody in the face. What's in that game from? That's the name. One got sent off.
Todibo.
Who?
Todibo.
Todibo. He was so angry. His eyes, and he wanted. Sorry.
But you see also one thing. I don't even think it's all about Maresca or who. Palma, whenever there is a team fight, you will see him taking the ball, sitting somewhere and watching.
Exactly.
Even when Pochettino was there, he's that guy who never bothers whenever the other team is fighting. Because
No,
but today
I played a good role today.
Today he went to defend.
Yes. To convince him, explain him. Maybe the referee couldn't see something, but Palmer explained to him. Actually, he went to the right place. The harder was arguing there, but he went to the right place, to the court.
And it was,
by the way, guys, Westham should have had 3 red cards. Like, Mavropana should have been sent off for that slap.
Yeah.
Todibo for that strangle, and Adama for that absolute just through. That should have been 3 red cards. They're very lucky.
But Adama,
I'd like this main character referee, Mike Dean. Mike Dean would have sent them off. You know Mike Dean likes to be the main character. Whenever he is refereeing a game, he must make sure that he gives everyone a yellow card. Even if you look at your opponent with the eyes the eyes look like they want to do a foul. Mike Dean is going to look at you and then he's going to give you a yellow card. And then you're like, why are you giving me a yellow card? So if it was Mike Dean and he knew the game was over, he would want to take the limelight for this game. So he would go give Adama a red card, and then he will also give a Chelsea player.
Yeah, Sanchez, and Pedro. They would have been sent off. They would have gone as well.
In fact, he would give Pedro. He would tell you, Pedro, you go. That is one thing about Mike Dean. You remember Mike Dean? Mike Dean, he always has that main character syndrome, but I think he retired. I don't see him nowadays.
Yeah, he retired.
But he liked us.
Who was that guy, that Man United referee? Who's that? Howard Webb. How would he react? Howard Webb at Old Trafford. If this is Old Trafford, how many Chelsea players are getting sent off there?
He will even send off the manager. Probably by that time, Ferguson will have already entered the pitch and joined the players on the pitch, but he will not see what Ferguson has done. He will see Mourinho who's looking at his monitor. There's not a VAR then. So Mourinho is bringing his monitor, is showing the ref. Can you see? This is a foul. This is a foul here. And then Webb will pick a red card and then he will send Mourinho off. And then he'll be like, oh, this Mourinho guy is very rude.
How good was Sanchez today? He saved some points, didn't he?
Sanchez has been remarkable this season. There's one thing that used to be said. A good goalkeeper will save you 10 to 15 points. And I'm telling you, if it was not for Sanchez, the best you could get in this draw is in this game is a draw or a loss. We would have been 3-0 down before the first half ended if it is not Sanchez.
Even the second half, he's made quite a big saves when we were
Even
chasing him.
even that Lukaku goal. Remember that Napoli game? It would have been a draw. That's why I'm telling you, he has been saving Chelsea points. And I'm here whenever I see people. There are some people who say he's the player of the season, and then I hear some people saying, "No, Sanchez cannot be." Sanchez has performed better than Caicedo this season. Even Caicedo, even this game, Caicedo didn't play well. Even this game, Caicedo didn't play well.
He got booked again.
Over a clumsy foul. It was so needless. Just allow him. And Caicedo needs to control his temper. I always see him praying every day before he plays and praying after he plays. I don't know why he's not putting humility in his game.
Humility.
There's no point of praying and you are arrogant on the pitch. You remember Kante? Kante never used to pray. He just used to come in. He's very humble.
And just,
when you're
run.
humble,
and just run. You run. What's that joke?
It was even sometimes the referee is giving Kante a yellow card and the referee is smiling. He doesn't want to give Kante the yellow card. He can see Kante has made a foul, but he doesn't want to give Kante a yellow card because Kante is a very humble guy. So, especially in that position, Caicedo should be very humble in that position. Even when the referee looks at him, he's like, I'm sorry, I'm looking at you.
The referee is crying at the end of the game. Fuck, I have to book Kante. Your face is completely devastated.
The referee would give Kante a red card. Then after the game, he would go to the dressing room and then look for Kante and then apologize to Kante. Kante, I'm sorry for giving you a red card. It is because of the rules of the game. But if it were for me, I will not give you a red card.
But now we have the opposite situations. Every time the referee, where's Caicedo? I need to book him. Where is he? I need to book him. And they're just looking for the excuse. Because before Caicedo used to be hiding in the radar, but now, of course, it's open season. All the referees are looking for Caicedo. They want to book him. But you saw the Napoli game there. He got away with one there. It ended up with the Napoli manager getting booked or assistant coach or something. But it's like this is a trend, a worrying trend, which is not sustainable in the long term. I don't know. Maybe he's tackling, his timing, or something.
Newcastle 1-0.
Sorry?
Newcastle 1-0 at Anfield.
What? Wow. I forgot there was a game going on at Anfield. But they who knows? It's a bit like Tottenham. Tottenham, Champions League, incredible. Premier League, terrible. Liverpool, Champions League, pretty good. EPL, pretty bang average. So I don't know what's going on.
What about Chelsea? In both competition, they are terrible.
Actually, in my opinion, I think we are just inconsistent. That is what I can say. In fact, in this Champions League, we would have finished second. We had easier games. The Atlanta game was a winnable game. The Karabakh game was a winner. Those were games we should have won with just 3 points because of rotation.
Tyron, those games you are highlighting here, those games in Champions League, honestly, they are on Maresca.
No, it was on rotations. He made the rotations. But you're also seeing what is happening with Liam.
Tyron,
no. But listen here, Isaac.
Yes.
Isaac, just get me here. Today, look at the rotations. I've not blamed Liam for the rotations. I've said maybe he wanted to start a strong team, but the medical teams told him, rest these players, start this team. So you remember what Maresca said after that Atalanta game? It was the worst 48 hours because he was told to pick those teams. And then that team went ahead and lost. Then the fans booed him. That's why he felt bad. And when the fans booed him, the club did not come out and say, we stand with our manager.
If you don't follow what those, I don't know, whatever, medicine director, what they are saying, if you don't follow that and you play your strong team, you win that game, what will happen next?
You will be sacked.
Because you won a game.
Yeah, you'll be sacked. You will be sacked.
If
Remember what happened. Remember what happened with Pochettino. Remember what happened with Pochettino. With Pochettino, we went into a 7-game unbeaten streak towards the end of the season. And what happened? They still sacked him.
But that is, you have to, I just taken out of context. What was Pochettino saying during that run there? He became arrogant. He became big. He became bigger than the club, and he was demanding these players, this whatever. Sometimes we have to actually take things into context.
Christian, he just said there was nowhere where he claimed he demanded players. He just came out and said that I don't know whether I will be here next season, because they said they were going to review his management. But he said he never knew whether he will be there this season, because he had questions about the squad. You see, yes, he won games. Look at it. He won games. He achieved what he was supposed to achieve, but they did not give him the other season. That's why I was telling Isaac, if Liam, he has played Palmer now, he will be told not to play Palmer on Wednesday. Palmer will not play on Tuesday.
From what I know about Pochettino, the main point was on Conor Gallagher.
Yeah.
He wanted Conor Gallagher, but the board wanted to sell him in order to make some profit, because Gallagher came from the academy. So the profit could be huge. So the board was seeing on that profit, but Pochettino wanted to keep him for the next season. That was the main point.
And as for Maresca, the main point of Maresca, it wasn't because the board threw him under the bus or blah, blah, blah. The main point of Maresca is that he ran out of ideas. Well, he had no plan B. And the results started, the results started going against him. And he was trying to deflect. And because he thought in his mind he was bigger than the club. He was the main man. The Chelsea cannot do with him, blah, blah, blah. Without no Maresca, no party, yada, yada, yada. And the board gave him a rude awakening. He said, "You know what? This is the ejector seat. Put your ass in there. You out of here." And he was gone. And that is lessons learned, that nobody is irreplaceable in this life. It doesn't matter how successful you think you are, or how much the club or your company or whatever needs you. You think they need you. Your ass can be replaced. And look, they would put this guy, a PE teacher, on top of all that, and he's doing better.
You see what you are saying. Myself, a game against Napoli, when Maresca see how this new coach is winning, what is his feeling?
We know the thing that we like to talk here, and because now we are deviating towards Maresca, the thing that we like to say here is that we like to say that Maresca was such a bad coach that he never did.
No.
Okay, we don't. Let me finish. Let me finish.
We don't say that.
Maresca won the Manager of the Month in November, so he was good by November. He was good. Mm-hmm. He just had a dip in form in December, and now all of a sudden the Club World Cup was this guy was managing. He managed big games. Just let me finish. He managed big games. He was on course. He just had a bad form. Slaughter's had that. Pepper's had that. It is common throughout the season that you are going to get to that 1 month or a couple of games where you're not going to perform well. But anyway, Maresca is gone, and now we focus on what is there. But with Liam, maybe it's a manager bounce. I don't want to say that he's better than Maresca. He needs to win something.
You see, what you are seeing, it's only the result of Maresca. When you say that in December he starts doing the bad result, you are seeing only to the result. But me, when I'm seeing Maresca, I'm seeing also the content, the game itself. So it was stuck. He put Neto this side. He put, I don't know, Garnacho or Gittens that side, and we keep trying with those half space.
But Isaac,
no solution.
Isaac, Maresca is gone. Has that improved Garnacho? Has that improved Gittens? Has that improved? So the performance is not great. The performance, yes, he left, but these players are still not good. So maybe his tactics are this, but again, the players are. Look at Garnacho. Why was Garnacho hooked off today at halftime? Because he's not good. The same goes with NATO. Anyway, I see it is a Liverpool game is continuing, so I'm going to allow you to watch. Even me, I want to watch that game. Yeah, we'll talk. We'll set up a discussion. We'll talk about the week and prepare for Arsenal. Anyway, thank you guys, and have a great weekend. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Those who ciao. Those who are going to do what do you guys do on Sunday?
Sleep.